Guess we'll move on. At this time, the Planning Commission will consider the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are perceived to be non-controversial and meet all of the requirements of the codes and regulations. The consent agenda will be acted on in one motion with no public hearing on the items unless a member of the public, the commission, or staff requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. The minutes from the February 27th, 2023 meeting are included in this consent agenda. Next, I'll read each item on the consent agenda and ask if there are any issues or comments from the Planning Commission or the audience. If any member of the Planning Commission or the audience would like to be heard on the item, please raise your hand, and the item will be moved to the regular agenda to allow you to address the commission later in the meeting. Any items remaining on the consent agenda will be approved by the Planning Commission with the conditions recommended by staff. The first item on the consent agenda is approval of the minutes of the February 27th, 2023 meeting. Item number 2 is rezoning 23-02 to rezone from A1 Agricultural District to the C Commercial District. The property legally described as Tract 4, Owens Edition, West Half, Northeast Quarter, Section 1, Township 103 North, Range 50 West. That is in Lyons Township. Petitioner is Lance Warren. Property owner is Joanne Oyen. That is located approximately 1.5 miles west of Baltic at the I-29 and 250th Street intersection. Item number 3, conditional use permit 23-11 to allow a telecommunication tower on the property legally described as the West Half, the Northeast Quarter. That is lying north of the railroad and west of the river, and the Northwest Quarter. There is an exception. That part of the east 915 feet lying north of the railroad right-of-way, but including the north 380 feet thereof. End of exception. Section 33, Township 102 North, Range 48 West, that is in Brandon Township. Petitioner is Excel Towers, LLC. Property owner is Daniel Risty. Location is 808 West Holly Boulevard, is approximately 1 mile west of Brandon.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. If your item has been approved, you're free to go. We'll move on to the regular agenda. Item number 4 is the review of conditional use permit 21-16 to expand existing rock extraction quarry on the property legally described as Lot 3. There is an exception of H-1, end of exception, Southwest Quarter, Northeast Quarter, West 1,534-04 feet. Another exception, South 1,703.78 feet, end of exception. And the North 1,875.55 feet. The East 413.2 feet. The West 1,947.24 feet. And the North 66 feet. Another exception, the West 1,947.24 feet, end of exception, Southeast Quarter. West 1,534-04 feet. South 1,703.78 feet, Southeast Quarter. Lots 1, 3, and 4, Royalwood Addition, Southwest Quarter, all in Section 27, Township 101 North, Range 48 West. Petitioner is LG Everest Incorporated. Contact is Chris Klein. Property owner is the same, located at 48175 Highway 42. Kevin?
All right. Good evening. I'm Kevin Hookman from the County Planning Department. This item is a partial review of conditional use permit 2109, and the extent of the property is shown on the map here. In February of 2021, the Planning Commission heard and approved an expansion of the existing quarry on this site. One specific condition that was changed during that time was regarding to ready-mix concrete and asphalt mixing plants on the property, where in the previous application, there was a prohibition against these uses, and the 2021 approval allowed that ready-mix concrete and asphalt mixing plants shall be reviewed by April 24th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. So here we are getting a jump start on reviewing this item. Since the 2021 expansion, neither the ready-mix concrete plant nor the asphalt plant have been constructed on the property. The applicant is requesting that we push the date for the next review to kind of do the similar type of tactic where we have a build and a review. The request is to push back the review to 2029. The factors cited in the narrative to justify this pushing it back includes inflation costs and delayed reconstruction of South Dakota Highway 42 east of Sioux Falls. The highway is now scheduled to be expanded in the summer of 2025, and the planned construction for the asphalt plant is 2027, and so a new review date would be 2 years after that construction, so it'd be 2029. The site plan for the possible options for the locations of the asphalt and the concrete mixing, you'll see there's option 1, which is in the top left of this image here, be the north west of the image, and then option 2 is on the east side of the existing way station and building there. Staff is reviewing these, and staff's opinion is that option 1 may be better suited for preventing prevailing winds from carrying fumes to the mixing plants into the residential houses that would be just north on Kim Circle and the Red Rock Bar establishment on the property, kind of near that green box there on the map. So far, the plan does require a berm and tree belt around the north side here, and I'll get to the next. Here's the tree belt plan, and with berming. The plan in the previous plan did include a requirement that this has to be constructed before the plants get built, and that's still part of the requirements of the operation. Just to review, this is the extent of the gravel or the rock mining on the property, or for the proposed kind of finished state of the quarry. Staff is recommending that condition number 20 be reworded to state that the proposed ready-mix concrete and asphalt mixing plant shall be reviewed within 2 years of construction of the plants, or by April 2029 Planning Commission meeting, whichever comes first. So that way, if the timeline for the construction of the asphalt plant comes up sooner, it can be reviewed at a sooner time as well. And I guess that is our recommendation for approval with that change in the conditions. Is there any questions?
Any questions for him? Is the petitioner here? Please step forward, state your name and address.
I'm Chris Klein, 1608 South Sunnyview Drive in Sioux Falls. So really, how can I go back to the, yeah. So by and large, the driving factor for not having done it to this point is they keep pushing the highway construction back, and we have construction easement agreements with the state while they're doing the construction. And so it's just, we can't move the berming and plant new trees until the highway is finished. So, and in either case, whether it's option 1 or option 2, we do have a concept, as noted on the site plan, for a new office and shop And we would kind of do that concurrently with the construction of a new asphalt or concrete plant. But in either case, neither one of those can take place until the highway's done.
Any questions for him?
Madam Chair, just a
Go ahead, Joe.
point of clarification. I guess maybe I had read it wrong, but just to reemphasize your point here, I guess I thought the delay in the highway, I thought some aspect of your ready mix was to assist in the construction thereof of the highway. So help me get my sequencing correct in time. Now I'm hearing from you that the highway would have to be complete before you could even do the berming to you see my problem? Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but help me out.
So we need to, as far as having ready mix for the highway project itself, that's most likely going to be a portable setup that comes in for that. We won't have anything to do with the actual production of ready mix for the highway.
Okay, so it's fair to say that it truly is a precondition for any of this going forward. In actuality, is that project would have to be done. And
Yes.
That's where this new timeline
Right.
comes from. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Anybody else have any questions for him? Guess not at this time. Anyone else in the audience wish to address this item? Commissioners?
We're both looking. Madam Chair, still a little bit confused. I'm with Joe. I thought that was kind of the whole purpose. So I'm not sure what piece I'm missing or not remembering. That was part of the reason we were doing the permit, was so that they could.
Becky, can you turn on your mic?
Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Thank you. I said I'm with Joe. I'm a little confused. I thought that was part of the reason we were doing this, so that this would be in place to help with the construction. So,
I might try and answer that. I'm Rick Everest with LG Everest, 350 South Main Avenue. So like Chris said, what we have here would be a permanent location, right? And that would be LG Everest business. In order to build the road, that would be a contractor's concrete plant, and that would be a portable plant. Now, they quite possibly could go in those same areas, but those would not be permanent.
So Rick, let me ask you a question. So your comment about a portable plant, you'd probably be supplying aggregate out of this pit? Is that where the community is coming from? That you're not providing concrete, providing aggregate?
We would not be providing the concrete, correct, just the aggregate. Yep. And in this case, we would be making our own concrete on this scenario.
Thank you.
Yep. Does that make more sense?
I have a question. Is there a timeline? I live out there too. Is there a timeline? What is their timeline?
For the highway?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I think it says in there, 2025 should be the reconstruction from the bridge to the state line. And that'll be at least a 2-year project, I believe. That's
Do you
the
think
last
that
I heard.
might happen? I mean, you know how many times they push that back? And you know what that road looks like out there right now?
I do.
Yeah,
I do,
okay.
Yep.
I do too. It's a mess, so to speak. So I didn't know what their projections were. You know, I mean, like I said, they keep pushing them back. And
We were kind of hopeful they'd be going right out in front of us this year or next, but now it looks like 25.
okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else have any questions for him? Thank you. Okay, commissioners?
Yes, Madam Chair, this seems like a reasonable request, and maybe some of the delay is caused by conditions outside the owner's control. So I guess with that said, I make a motion to approve.
I'd second that.
I have a motion and second to approve the conditional use permit, the review of the conditional use permit 21-16. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any old business?
Just, I guess the only item of old business would be a reminder that tomorrow we have two items. Tomorrow we have two items that will be going to the county commission. One is the second reading of the ordinance amendment for short-term rentals. And the second item is a rezoning request up by Renberg School, Rognus Edition. That was for the hefty rezoning request. What's it called? Grant Park? Grant Park Capital rezoning request. You may remember you had recommended denial of that at your last meeting. So the hearing, the second reading for that is tomorrow as well at 9 a.m. Just, that's all.
Thank you. Any new business?
No.
I will need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to go into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We will take a short recess, and everybody else has to leave the room.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I will be recusing myself from the session.
Okay. Thanks, Becky.